If you need any help, Mr. Hummer, just say the word. It's unnecessary for the Grant family to get involved in something as menial as this. Joshua said calmly. Now that I'm back, I won't allow anyone to challenge the Hummer family's authority, not even the Harmon family. Josh, have you had a breakthrough? Edwin asked tentatively. Yes, I have. I've now achieved divinity. Joshua smiled proudly. A divine-level martial artist? Edwin was delighted. That's great. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Joshua was probably the only divine-level martial artist in all of Swinton. Low-level martial artists were no match for divine-level martial artists. They could refine their martial arts prowess, but physical abilities could only take one so far. Divine-level martial artists, on the other hand, could manifest their energy externally and use it to harm or even murder others without anyone realizing it. Low-level martial artists weren't even in the same league as them. Even in Millsburg, where powerful martial artists converged, divine-level martial artists were existences to fear. It was no wonder Joshua had won the Grant family's favor. How could he not when he possessed such talent and potential? Which family wouldn't want to have something to do with him? Dad, are divine-level martial artists truly that powerful? How will Joshua fare against Dustin? Tina asked curiously. Joshua can destroy that brat with a snap of his fingers. Edwin said proudly. That's great. Joshua, you have to teach him a good lesson on my behalf. Tina said excitedly. There's no hurry to deal with Dustin. He's a weakling that can be slaughtered at any time. What's more important now is that we have to give Joshua and Jade a proper welcome. You're right. Let's head home. At this moment, at Peaceful Medical Center, Dustin received a call from Ruth. Dustin, something's happened at Harmon Pharmaceuticals. You've got to get over here right now. Something's happened? What is it? Dustin asked curiously. A bunch of people suddenly showed up and demanded that we partner with them for the production of Immorchinol. Is that so? Where's your sister? I'll leave the decision up to her. She went to Millsburg last night and won't be back so soon. In any case, she was the one who told me to call you, saying that you had the last say. All right, then. I'll be right there. Dustin hung up and drove to Harmon Pharmaceuticals. When he arrived, 20 minutes later and strode into the conference room, he saw some people already seated inside. Jessica, Quentin, Ruth, and Mr. Wangley sat on the left, while a distinguished man was on the right. Dustin, you're finally here. Have a seat, quick. Ruth stood up and gestured for him to sit. The others looked at him coolly. What's going on here? Dustin glanced around curiously. I have a question for you, Jessica said. I heard Natasha gave you 50% of the shares for Immorchinol. Is that true? Yeah, Dustin nodded. Glad to hear that. Now, hand the shares over, she said coolly. What? Why? Dustin was taken aback. Because you don't deserve them. Jessica didn't mince her words. The Harmon family handles everything from the production, sales, and marketing for Immorchinol. You don't contribute anything to this process. Why should you deserve 50% of the profits? Don't you think you're being a little too greedy? Mrs. Harmon, there must be a misunderstanding somewhere. Ms. Harmon was the one who decided that the shares dash. Jessica cut him off with a wave of her hand. That's enough. I don't want to hear it. Hand the shares over if you know what's good for you. At least you'll be able to walk out of this unscathed. Does Ms. Harmon know about this? Dustin narrowed his eyes slightly. He knew what was going on now. They'd obviously tricked him here to snatch the ownership of the shares away from him. It doesn't matter whether she knows. This has to do with our family's interests. Her word isn't the only one that matters. Rest assured that we'll compensate you handsomely for this. We're willing to pay you $50 million if you hand over the shares. Jessica looked like she was talking about something inconsequential. Hey, just hand them over when we tell you to and stop fucking around. Quentin said impatiently. What if I refuse? Dustin's expression became icy. Then you won't leave this room today. Quentin slammed a hand on the table. The next second, a group of security guards barged into the room, circling Dustin with menacing looks.